my assessment of it is that the thing that people have been focusing on, which is the supply side, is probably the wrong place to be focusing at the moment. It really is the demand side. And as I've noted over the past 18 months or so, most OPEC forecasts, for example, on demand have been ratcheted up, and most non-OPEC supply has been ratcheted down. So what we've seen is some very interesting developments. We've seen big switches in inventory. We had the OPEC cuts, but we found that a lot of that floating storage oil kept coming onto the market, so it looked as if it didn't have any impact. But I think we've started to see that happening now, so that inventory is off the market. We're seeing US inventories come down, but the most important thing is that just about every country, every significant country that I'm looking at in terms of economic activity is noting growth in oil consumption, particularly in transportation fuels. It's quite robust. So I think that the market is rebalancing much faster than people are focusing on the supply side of considering.
And that growth picture is certainly resonating in the PMI data we've been seeing recently. GDP figures quite encouraging, but is it enough to offset the supply concerns? Another way to look at it, do you think we can get NYMEX above that $50 level and holding there? What is your price outlook?
Well, I think we've got a reasonable chance of getting up towards $60 for WTI by the end of the year. I still think that's a realistic development. But to me, just about everywhere I look, we're getting things like motor vehicle sales are strong. So the demand for oil is just growing. So yeah, let's focus on the demand side, not so much on the supply side. But when we do look at the supply side in the United States, for example, the tight oil hasn't been coming through as strongly as one might have thought, even though the Permian's doing very well, Permian Basin, but the others haven't shown any real growth, and it's only some conventional production out of the Gulf of Mexico that's really keeping the US growing. Now that growth will continue, but I don't think it's going to be as strong as some commentators in the market would think.